Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's good, man. It is that time. We got to discuss how to revamp our squads. Waiver wire must add players week number 7. We got a lot of troubles. We got bye week Armageddon coming, and we got so many injuries to deal with. The only positive is that we're going to see a little bit of an influx of players, especially at the running back position on the waiver wire that we can obtain. Like I'm saying, bye week troubles this week, man. The Panthers, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Jets, and the Titans. It is not good news. No bueno. As you know, if the injuries didn't happen, then the bye weeks we could get through. But I mean, so many players went down in week 6. It was gross. But we got to talk these running backs, man. Week number 7, Eli Mitchell. Okay, here's the debate. This is the interesting aspect of this part of it right now is who is it going to be? Is it Eli or is it Mason? And okay, we got to go with depth chart purposes. Eli did see some sprinkles of touches where Mason did carry the load when CMC did go down last week. However, Eli is on the depth chart ahead of a Mason, and that should stand and continue. We have heard rumors that Kyle Shanahan has suggested that there is possibilities that a CMC could suit up this week in week 7. If he does miss time, likely going to be short, lasted because it's only an oblique injury. Nothing overly serious from what we're seeing right now. 1 to 2 weeks, maybe. And if he does suit up this week, CMC, there's likely going to be some split touches this week for him as well. So pick your poison. It is difficult. Is it Mason? Is it Eli? I'm going on the trend that it's going to be Eli Mitchell if CMC does not go down, but there will be a timeshare in this backfield. No kidding. Zach Evans for these LA Rams, gotta be the next one due to volume, upside, and potential talent ability. I do like in Evans. He's not, fully there yet for the NFL game, but he's got enough juice and wheels that he can make it happen on the outside. My question marks for him coming out of Ole Miss was the fact of, can he be an inside running back in between the tackles? And it still is one of those questions I don't know if we have the answer to. He can get outside, and he is a game breaker with those wheels. He can do it. So Zach Evans, to me, based on volume, upside, definitely has got to be a priority running back waiver wire pickup with Kyron Williams being out this week likely. Kareem Hunt finds his way back into some good graces in Cleveland. They utilized him a little bit more with more sprinkles of touches. He is a notable addition this week as well. Very interesting how they're going to utilize Hunt in this offense continuing moving forward. Is this meaning that, a Jerome Ford's role is going to get pulled back a little bit more? We see more split touches in this backfield. Very, very possible as Kareem Hunt showed that he still's got a lot of capabilities, man. Reynolds from the Detroit Lions. Okay, here we go. Injuries. Monty is down now, likely few weeks with some rib cartilage injury, and it's not looking good. He was blowing off the scene, man, and now he's going down. Now we got to trust a guy like Reynolds in what is a good, high-powered Detroit Lions offense, so you could do a lot worse than Reynolds, but this one you got to caveat as well. Could we see Jahmyr Gibbs come back to the fold this week with a little bit more, pressure to return from his injury so that they can get, a good mix between him and Reynolds? Reynolds is definitely one you got to add on your radar this week as well. Tajay Spears, even though the Titans are on the bye week, he is one of these guys that may get overlooked in some of your leagues because he does not have a game. If you got room to stash a Spears and hold him, I would definitely do that. The Titans are utilizing both running backs in this backfield, and it's a good change of pace for a Derrick Henry as well. Once Spears started going this past week, we saw Henry open up that much more, so Spears definitely one you got to get on your roster. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of who do we trust in these backfields. It's a lot of handcuffs again, man. Okay, Ingram. A lot of people went for Cato and it was my recommendation as well to go get Cato off the waiver wire. But you got to have to understand is that they're going to go with the veterans before they go with the rookies. And that's how it did play out. Could it continue this way? Sure. But I do believe it will be a split backfield, maybe even a trio backfield in Arizona until moving forward. Ingram, okay, they didn't look great. I mean, it's matchup play for these Arizona Cardinals when it comes to this backfield with no James Conner. So Ingram, I mean, he's one of these guys. Can you really trust? He's like a desperation play at this point. Zeke Elliott, I mean, he saw some carries this past week, opened up Ramondre a little bit more as well. Maybe that is the MO in New England. Maybe you got to start running the ball with both these running backs that much more to give Mac No Money Jones some abilities. Maybe we see Malik Cunningham and they can install the RPOs. There is potential there as well. Zeke Elliott is definitely on the trend. Keaton Mitchell, he's coming off the injured reserve, and this is interesting because we see the Baltimore Ravens require some sort of influx from the running back quarterback spot to give them some point productivity. Mitchell is an interesting running back rookie. He did deal with some injuries, got some skills, got some talent. He's got a good frame, and he's got some speed. I do like his game, but we got to see how they're going to utilize him in this offense. Right now, he is a bench stash. Justice Hill, I mean, okay, we got to understand it's still a split backfield. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and it's at this point matchup play. Is he going to score a touchdown? Is he going to get over that 10-point threshold? We hope, and it's very difficult. It's like pulling teeth right now trying to get these running backs to move in Baltimore. I mean, I could do a lot better than what Justice Hill is doing, but he is decent in matchup play and PPR upside. Zach Charbonnet is still on this list, man, only 42% owned. He is the greatest handcuff on this waiver wire right now. If something happens to a Kenneth Walker III, Charbonnet is going to be that guy. I've been preaching it for weeks. He's got to be on your bench at this point. We will lose running backs as we saw this past week. You got to be covered, and Charbonnet is definitely one you got to keep. Jamal Williams coming off the IR. I know everybody's, gushing over at Kendre Miller. He's good talent. Kendre Miller is a good talent, but they paid a Jamal Williams for this reason. He's going to be the goal line back. He will vulture touchdowns every which way like we saw last year in Detroit. So Jamal Williams, if he is, I believe the 21-day window has opened, so if he's there for y'all, I think he's a good stash because TD upside will definitely be there. And then Tank Bigsby saw some sprinkles, but it's still not enough to trust deeper leagues. Watch list only for shorter 12-team and 14-team leagues. Quarterback time. It's a big problem as well. Bye week troubles. We see some teams with multiple quarterbacks on the bye week sitting on their bench. Sam Howell's the guy, man, this week. You got to understand what's going on with these Washington Commanders, the Commies. Sam Howell's been good with Eric Bieniemy. Yes, he's taken sacks like a mofo, and he's going to lead the league, break the record in most sacks taken by any quarterback in the NFL. It's over 100 that he's projected for. But this man is putting up points, and this is what you need to see. He's got one of the better, completion percentages, QB ratings, the yardage is there, the TD passes are there, the efficiency rates are there. Sam Howell is playing ball and doing enough for us to trust him in fantasy football. Over 100 points, still only 28% ownership, man. If you look for a quarterback, okay, I get it. He's not going to give you the 40 points at this point as they continue to figure out this offense, but he is reliable enough to be your filler. And against the New York Giants this week, I think Howell is a great pickup and start, man. Derek Carr, again, this one baffles me. I don't understand how he came back from that AC joint so fast, but he did. And how this offense is moving. They're still doing the short passes, not going as deep just yet, and I believe that's due in part for them not to get Derek Carr re-injured on that throwing arm with the AC joint. He is going up against the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, and there is potential that if you require a quarterback, Derek Carr could give you the elixir you require, but I would taper off the top-end ability because they're not finding Chris Olave on the regular like they used to, but I do believe it is scheme-based right now to keep that injury from getting any worse. Derek Carr, you could absolutely play this week. Baker Mayfield did not look good coming off the bye week. The Buccaneers definitely, missed some shots, man. There was one opportunity where I saw Mike Evans. I mean, he could have been a 70-yard touchdown, but the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, the day could have looked a lot better for Mayfield. I still believe we could trust him in fantasy football, especially in matchup play, and especially this week with all these quarterbacks on the bye. Josh Dobbs, he's taking a little bit of a haircut right now. Can we trust it in fantasy football? It is very difficult because the Arizona Cardinals have fallen back down to earth. They are seemingly figured out. They're not like this new fresh toy that nobody knows. Tape is out on Dobbs, how to stop him once again in this offense. So, I mean, pick your poison. It is only in the great matchup plays that I'm firing up a Dobbs. Desmond Ridder, I know everybody's talking on the Twitter sphere that, Desmond Ridder sucks because he threw 3 interceptions. Not even close to how that game went down. Yes, Ridder did take some chances, and he did make some mistakes, made some costly errors that cost the Falcons the game. I will not say otherwise. However, Ridder is doing enough, and he is learning on the fly. He is doing very well. They are running a lot of 12-man personnel with Jonnu Smith and a Kyle Pitts, and Desmond Ridder is starting to get these men the ball, man. 90 points is not bad for this guy at this point of his progression, and I do like what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. They have a very solid defense, which is giving the opportunity to the offense that much more. Ridder's got to cut down on these turnovers, but how do you grow? You got to make those plays eventually, and then understand and learn and watch your tape and see where you go. Desmond Ridder is not a bad option. He can definitely, almost 20 points this past week. You go and tell me all the quarterbacks that got you 20 points this past week. Josh Allen didn't even crack that mark. So, I mean, be careful when you criticize a quarterback and listen to what the top-end media is talking about, because, I mean, you got to see the games if you understand how they're playing. Ritter is not a terrible option in matchup play. And then Gardner Minshew does not have a great matchup this week, but he is on the radar simply due in part because we don't have a lot of quarterbacks due to injuries and bye weeks, man. Wide receiver time, J-Mo. I've been waiting for it, man, and this is what it was. He's struggling, okay? I get it. He hasn't played a lot of football in the NFL because the injuries have derailed that aspect. But once he figures it out, like he did on that catch that he scored the touchdown on, it was a deep shot pass underthrown, and he did have to turn like 360 style and, track the ball. Unbelievable ability J-Mo does have. It will come with time. How patient can we be is the question mark for me. He still is a priority waiver wire pickup because if they can figure this out in Detroit and J-Mo is, going to figure out his game, watch out, man. The top is going to be blown off this offense with J-Mo in it. They're going to dump short to an Amon-Ra St. Brown, utilize Laporta, and then go deep with a J-Mo. This offense could be nice, and J-Mo is going to be a big part of it. Scoring the touchdown was a breath of fresh air because that was a very difficult catch he made. Josh Downs, another one on my board, has been for a while. Told y'all like 3 weeks ago it was better to be early than late. Now we're too late because everybody's going to go grab a Josh Downs, and you're going to have to fork out some fab dollars to get him. Almost 50 points. With a Gardner Minshew actually might be better than an Anthony Richardson for the case of a Josh Downs, where Minshew is very comfortable throwing over the middle and finding a safety blanket like Josh Downs. Got to get him on your roster because PPR upside is definitely key here. He will get you anywhere from 8 to 12 points on the weekly, more than likely now, as he is, building a decent rapport with Gardner Minshew right now. I do like it a lot. Josh Downs has always been my guy. Go check out his scouting report if you didn't know. I love his game coming back from UNC, man. Notable additions, Rashee Rice. We're still trying to understand who is going to be the number one target in Kansas City for Patrick Mahomes at the wide receiver spot, and Rice is starting to pick up steam quite a bit. He's looking to be a little bit more trusted, making plays. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he is turning upfield. It is a very big positive. 31% ownership right now, 46 points. You got to love what Rice is doing. At this point, I think we can grab him, put him on the bench, and then, wait and see. Maybe the next couple of weeks will showcase that Rice is going to be the number one target at the wide receiver spot for Patrick Mahomes. Curtis Samuel, only 31% ownership, and he's being utilized the way I thought they would utilize Jahan Dotson. What is going on? Eric Bieniemy does love himself some Curtis Samuel and the skill set and what it does provide for a Sam Howell. Right now in Washington, it is all about the scheme. Who's the open guy? Take what the defense gives you. And right now, Samuel is benefiting a big way, man. He is an easy flex play at this point. 62 points on 31% ownership. How can you hate that, man? Get Samuel on your bench and play the matchups on him as well. He has got a decent flex PPR upside, man. Josh Reynolds continues. Target share is definitely going to go down for this man now that the evolution of J-Mo is starting to take shape. And Amon-Ra, there just won't be enough targets to go around. However, he will get his 4 to 5 targets per game still in this offense as a secondary wide receiver, and he will put you up the numbers. 61 points for this man as well, almost 40% ownership. He should still be in there if you're in a pinch and you require a flex option. Tyler Boyd right now, still likely. This is probably one more week of, good target share as T. Higgins continues to recover from his rib injury. Once T is back to full health, they will fade a Tyler Boyd in target share 100%, and then we'll have to put him back on the waiver wire. So once again, for bye week troubles, you can absolutely start a play, or depending on the health, I should say, of a T. Higgins. I'll caveat that way. But, we got to see how it's going to operate. But, 2 to 4 weeks is usually typically a rib injury, fractured ribs. So you got to wait and see how T's recovering. But Tyler Boyd can be trusted this week if T is down once again. Look who pops back on my list. It is a Brandon Cooks. Mike McCarthy took him 6 weeks to figure out that he's got a speedster quality, almost near, top end wide. I didn't want to call him elite just yet, but we know what Brandon Cooks is, man. He's a damn good wide receiver, 1,000-yard, easy wide receiver in this league. He is back on the radar. Dallas finally understood, hey, we got a good wide out here. We got to utilize him. It should have been Brandon Cooks over Michael Gallup at this point for me. It should continue now as Dak Prescott did look very good on Monday Night Football. I was very impressed. Have not seen him play that well in a long time. Brandon Cooks is definitely back on the radar if you want to pick him up, put him on your bench, and hopefully we can see back-to-back weeks where they utilize this man in target shares. Zay Jones, The injury is the concern. He's missed time, multiple games already. Is he going to come back this week? Definitely watch the injury report for that. If you want to take a shot, I don't think many are going to be running to the wire to grab Zay Jones, but you should if he is healthy because he does have good chemistry and can pop off in this Jaguars offense with a Trevor Lawrence, but now Lawrence is dealing with a knee injury as well, so I'm just putting him down here as a notable addition. Don't run to the wire to go grab him. Likewise for OBJ. This offense in Baltimore, can you figure out your pass game? Looked a little better this past week, but it's still not to that top-end level that we were hoping for. So can we criticize Lamar? When can we criticize Lamar already? I don't know, man. So wide receivers have been dropping balls, so, I mean, it is a, mixed bag of criticism that I could pour around, but OBJ is back on the radar right now. I want to see a lot more from this offense and OBJ to trust him in fantasy. Just notable addition right now. Michael Wilson from these Arizona Cardinals with, the drop-off play from a Josh Dobbs. It is hampering with the target share for a Wilson. 52 points. He did have that one massive blow-up game, and we haven't seen much of it since. So, I mean, it is one of these things, hit and miss at this point. Definite matchup play, we got to say, for a Wilson. Last ones are the deeper leagues and notables, for the watch list. Brandon Powell, Ronnie Bell, and a Justin Ross. There could be some sprinkles of a Justin Ross. I'm only throwing it here because, what did I say? It's better to be too early than too late. And okay, with the evolution of Rashee Rice, this Ross thing may never come to fruition, but I do believe Ross is too talented to be still wasted on the bench. He did see some sprinkles and targets this past week, so maybe that evolution will continue to rise, but he is still on the waiver wire for me right now. Just definitely hit that watch list for him. Ronnie Bell's only on the list simply because of the Deebo Samuel injury. They would have to roll with Ayuk, Jennings, and a Ronnie Bell, so there is potential there where he could see no coverage, and then, Brock Purdy finds him on the regular. Definitely watch the injury report for Deebo, and Powell did get some sprinkles of PPR upside, but not enough to trust just yet. He is on my watch list. Tight ends finish it off. Logan Thomas. Like I said, man, everything's coming up. Commies, the Commanders, because Sam Howell is taking what the defense gives him. Yes, Logan Thomas did disappoint us with that top-end numbers this past week, but he is a fixture in this offense. He is trusted by Sam Howell. He is trusted by Eric Bieniemy, and he will continue to get those, numbers and targets rolling to his direction. Almost 50% owned. We won't have a chance to get him after this week, as he should be picked up by many squads, man. Michael Mayer is on the list. Yes, man, let's stand up. I've been preaching Michael Mayer going back to the offseason. He is far too talented to not be utilized. I don't understand why it takes some coaches so long to integrate a young player, into their offense. Mayer is a fabulous tight end, great pass catcher, and he will show it like he did this past week. The Raiders finally gave this man some target share, and he repaid them versus the New England Patriots, wearing the 87 Gronk. Maybe it was fitting. He was trying to Gronk a little Bill Belichick in his own way. But Mayer is one of these guys, definitely is now finally on the radar. We want to see back-to-back weeks of usage to trust it, but he is definitely on the radar for me right now because tight end is so difficult to find point production, man. Gerald Everett from these Los Angeles Chargers now. Again, no Mike Williams, like I was saying. I told y'all Josh Palmer is going to be above a Q Johnston. But Gerald Everett will have his time. However, this is a little tricky because they seemingly using a Donald Parham as well. So can we fully trust an Everett? No. But, I mean, you could do a lot worse. He did score the touchdown versus the Cowboys. So maybe that's a sign of things to come. But I did see too much of Donald Parham to trust a Gerald Everett like we have in years past. Jonnu Smith, easy, man. This guy's got his target share, 12-man personnel, like I'm saying. It's absolutely elevating the play of a Desmond Ridder. And it's opening up guys like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So Jonnu Smith with his target share, 44 points for the tight end spot. You can't hate that, man. Jonnu Smith, we can absolutely plug and play if we require that at the tight end spot. Conklin right now with a Zach Wilson is, getting his fair share of targets. We can now at least look at the possibility of matchup play for a Conklin with a Zach Wilson, who is moving this offense in some degree. It could be a lot worse in New York. He's improving. You got to give it to him, man. I'm not a hater on Zach Wilson at all. I want to see him succeed, and Conklin could be a big part of that success moving forward. Granson with a Gardner Minshew. He's going to see his sprinkles from time to time, but I still believe more often than not it is going to be Michael Pittman and Josh Downs before we see Granson. He is going to be, fourth, fifth on the target share dispersal. I mean, so we got to wait and see how that role's going to come out. He's just popped up because he did have some catches this past week, and there is potential for matchup play here as well. And last one on the watch list is Dalton Kincaid. I know he's 45% owned. People are not willing to give up on him, and good for you because he is far too talented to not be playing. He went down with the injury this past week, did not play. Should be good to go this week. There's got to be a time where they open up this man as well. Like I'm talking Michael Mayer. Use Dalton Kincaid Dorsey. I don't know why this is not working right now. Give this man some targets, see what he can do. But once he pops off, I do believe he will not stop. Dalton Kincaid is definitely one of these guys that he needs to be on the roster eventually. It's just going to be one of those things. I mean, 45%, there's a lot of people not giving up hope on this man right now. If he's there, if you have room, I never like holding tight ends, but I mean, he is one that we could potentially see break out sooner rather than later. But there you have it. That is week number 7, waiver wire must-add players. It's a crapshoot, man. These next couple weeks are going to be bye-week hell, and we got to get these players on our bench, at least mix and match, to get full rosters and get the top-end point production we require for these wins. It's never over till it's over. Remember that. It's fantasy football, war of attrition, and I'm here with y'all. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.